Hi, boys and girls. This is Grandma Sheilla, and my voice is having a hard time today. So instead of just telling you the story, I decided to read it to you so you could hear it better. Our story today is called Doug and the Diamond Tiepin. Well, years and years ago, men always used to wear a tie pin that held their tie in place on a shirt, or they sometimes called them tie clasps, and they opened like this, and they went across the tie and held it to the shirt. Well, that's what our story's about today. Doug and the Diamond Tiepin. You know that diamonds are very, very valuable. So a diamond tie pin must be valuable too. Well, many years ago, Doug, that's not his real name, of course, he sailed from Europe all the way across to America. He was very, very poor. In fact, all he had in the world was $25. And in those days, that was the amount that was required to come into America. $25 had to be in your pocket. All too soon, his little store of money was all spent, and he had to look for work. Being big for his age, he finally got a job in a railroad yard. The work was hard and the wages small, but at least he was able to keep alive. He could eat. When the job was finished, the railroad company let him go. They didn't have any more job for him. Now he was on his own again. Day after day, he trudged the streets of the city looking for work, but no one wanted any help. He offered to do the humblest little tasks, but still everybody said no. One day, he went into a hotel and asked to see the manager. He said he was willing to wash floors, sweep carpets, clean windows, do anything. The manager liked the looks of him and said he could start right away. His job would be to clean the bedrooms in that hotel and all the bathrooms and the stairways, everything that needed cleaning. Well, Doug didn't like the work very well, but he made up his mind that he would make the hotel the cleanest that it had ever been before. Another job given him was shining the guests' shoes and brushing their coats. We don't do so much of that anymore. For this, the people generally gave him a tip, maybe a nickel or a dime. Not much for all that effort. One day he was washing the floor in the bathroom, and he saw something glittering under one of those old-fashioned, clawfoot bathtubs. So he reached under the tub, and he picked it up, and it was a tie pin with diamonds all over it. It was so unusual that he decided to show it to his friend. "My," said his friend, "you surely are lucky. You've just made yourself a fortune." "Why?" asked Doug innocently. "Don't you know, silly? Those are diamonds," said his friend. "That pin is probably worth $3,000 or more. What are you going to do with all that money?" "I'm going to take the tie pin to the manager," Doug said. "Why do that?" said his friend. "If you were to sell it and keep the money, you'd have more money than you've ever seen before." Fortune won't smile on you twice. You better think twice about taking it to the manager. Oh, I can't do that, said Doug. It wouldn't be right. The pin probably belongs to a man who last used the bathroom. I think I'd better go downstairs with it right now. So he did. Shyly, he walked into the manager's office. I found this in one of the bathrooms, under the bathtub, he said. The manager almost leaped out of his chair, and the relief on his face was something to see. We've been looking for that tie pin all day, he said. The owner thinks that somebody stole it. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Doug returned to his job, sure that he had done the right thing, and he was happy that he had made the manager pleased. A few days later, he was called into the manager's office. Here's some money to buy a new suit, said the manager. What's this for? Asked Doug. You've been invited out to dinner, and you must have some good clothes to wear. Me, said Doug. Who would invite me to dinner? It's a manager's dinner, said the manager, and you are going to go with me. Thank you, sir, said Doug. How kind of you. I didn't expect anything like this. I know, said the manager. That's why I'm taking you. When the big day came, Doug went to the manager's club. There was a lot of men there, and Doug thought, oh, maybe I'm supposed to polish their shoes and brush their coats. But no. Instead, he was given a seat right next to his manager from the hotel, and he was treated like all the other people. Well, after the meal was over, there were several speeches. When it came to the manager's turn to speak, he said he wanted to talk about a diamond tie pin that was lost and how it was found by the boy who did the cleaning in his hotel. As he was about to sit down, he said, I want you to meet the fine lad who found the tie pin. He's sitting here beside me. Stand up, Doug. Then to the audience he said, let me introduce you to the most honest boy in town. Blushing all over, blushing means that your cheeks get all red. Doug stood up and everybody clapped. Afterward, many came to shake hands with him, including some very important people. From that moment, everything changed for Doug. It was the turning point in his life. Strangers came to the hotel just to see him. Guests treated him like a hero. Instead of tipping him 5 cents for shining their shoes, sometimes they gave him 50 cents or $1 now. At last, he was able to save some money. At the end of 3 whole years, he had saved $14,000 in the bank. As the weeks and the months went by, he continued to save his money. Then he began to invest his money to make it earn more, and he did it very wisely. And at last, to Doug's own surprise, he became a millionaire. All because he returned the diamond pin. He could have sold it and kept the money, and he could have ended up in prison doing that. But giving it back to his owner, he won everybody's respect, and he eventually became a rich man. Doug is a very old man now, but he loves to tell boys and girls that it always pays to be honest. Because when he tells his story, you should know that it pays to be honest. Thank you, boys and girls, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye now.